Hi, today we are going to go over Chapter 1 and 2 in our statistics. Chapter 1 is mostly definitions. I think you can, by printing out my handout and reading the book and my PowerPoint presentations, you pretty much can write down the definitions of the vocabulary words we'll use throughout the semester. What I'd like to concentrate more on in this video is Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is some calculations. I'm going to use a dot camera here. And this will not only help with your first test, which will be Chapter 1 and 2, but it will also help on your graphing project that I will assign to you. So I'm going to go to the dot cam, this is a picture of your handout. As you can see at the top of the page, here are some definitions which you can obtain from either the textbook or my PowerPoint presentations. What I'd like to concentrate in this video, as I said, is some calculations. Now this is this is a frequency distribution you can see right here, which is on your handout. The classes, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 classes in this data, and the interval is the 18 minus 15 or 3, or in this case we're talking thousands of dollars, so it's $3,000. Each interval must be the same. I'd like to go over how we got here. First of all, we calculated the number of classes. We calculated the number of classes through the 2K rule. That you can find in your book, the formula, and K is the number of classes. In this case, it's 7. Also, on your formula sheet and in the book is how you calculate interval. Interval is highest value in your data minus your lowest value divided by K, or the number of classes. And interval, as I mentioned, was 3 in this case. So we recorded our 7 intervals, we tallied up our raw data, and from our tally we got our frequencies. Now our midpoint, as you can see here, midpoint, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Oop, that's a little bit too much. This first one is midpoint. Midpoint is the midpoint of the class. So between 15 and 18, our midpoint is 16.5. Midpoint between 18 and 21 is 19.5. 21 to 24 is 22.5. 25.5. 28.5. 31.5. 34.5. So midpoint is the midpoint between classes. How can you find that? You can add 18 plus 15 divided by 2 if you can't do it in your head. Okay? Next calculation I'd like to go over is cumulative frequency. Again, this is reinforced both in the textbook and in my PowerPoint presentations, but I like to show students how to calculate it. You copy over the first frequency, 8. The next cumulative frequency, it's 8 plus 23, which is 31. The next cumulative frequency would be 8 plus 23 plus 17, and that's 48. And you continue on with the cumulative frequency. The last cumulative frequency will be 80, and it should correspond to your sample size. Sample size is the sum of all the frequency. N will be sample size for the entire semester. The last calculation I would like to go over in this video is relative frequency. Relative frequency is important because it shows either the percent of each class. So the relative frequency in our first class, you take frequency 8 divided by the total sample size. So it's 8 divided by 80, 8 divided by 80, or 0.10. You are welcome to write this down as a decimal to two places, 0.10, or as a percent. For example, the first one would be 10%. Okay? And I would like you to finish this handout, and on the PowerPoint presentations are the answers for this. Thank you.